Hi everyone, it's Molly. Welcome back to my channel. Thank you for being here. I am going to be doing a thin paint straight pour tonight, and I'm going to be using really soft, pretty blues and grays. I am mixing my paint brands tonight, so I'm using Creative Inspirations along with Amsterdam paints. And when I do that, I get some really cool organic cellular reactions. So that's what I'm going to be doing tonight. Fingers crossed it comes out okay because it's for a client. Let's paint. Hi everyone, welcome back. Thank you for being here. I am going to be doing a thin paint straight pour tonight for a commission piece, and it was blues and grays basically. She sent me some pictures that had black in it, but I think the gray and the Payne's gray will be enough. And I've learned quite a few things because I just did 2 of these, and I had silver in there. And the silver that I use is Creative Inspirations, Soho, and I mixed that with Winsor and Newton so that I could mix them with water. And when I torched, it brought up all these unwanted cells. Creative Inspirations does that sometimes too. And then my white had a bunch of air bubbles, and so I ended up with all these white spots. And I've been trying to get them out. I think I'll probably still have some, but I'm hoping it's not as much as before. So my paints are thin, like my blow dryer consistency, and most of these are Amsterdam, and then I have a little bit of leftover paint here that I'll run around the edges to make sure that I have enough, because this is a 20-ounce cup and this is a 24-inch canvas. So I have learned quite a few things. When I was doing these a couple months back, the first one that I did, which is still the one that I love the most, I didn't layer as much. I only layered the colors one time throughout for the cup. In the subsequent ones, I layered multiple times, and I feel like the colors got a little bit too muddy. So that's what I still see a bunch of air bubbles. This is what happens. I normally let my paint sit overnight, but I had run out of white and had to make more. I'm just tapping this kind of like this to bring them to the top, and then I pop them real quick with my torch. So I'm gonna pour, I still see a ton. We'll just have to go with it and see what happens. So I'm gonna pour the majority of the white in the bottom of the cup. So that is the other thing that I noticed, that I really liked having a larger amount of whatever color is gonna be in the center on the bottom of the cup. And then you have to think about your layering. So I really like the phthalo blue or the Payne's gray next to the white. It really brightens those colors. So I'm going to pour a little bit down the side, and you'll see some sits on top, and then if you pour from up higher, some will dip into the white itself. Now I'm gonna go with my next lighter color, so I'm gonna pour a little bit in, and then the rest down the side. And you can see they're sinking because they're thin paints. This is just called, a straight pour, dirty pour into the cup. Oh, the colors on there are beautiful. So I debated doing the rest of my white in here. I guess I will. I'm gonna get those little tiny bubbles, I know. All right, now I'm gonna come in with my darker color. And I can already see that Payne's gray reacting with the others because my Payne's gray is Creative Inspirations. It's Creative Inspirations, Payne's gray, and Prussian blue mixed 50-50, and that's how I get some of those cellular reactions. I mix paint brands together. I'm gonna go with some more of this beautiful color, and then I'm gonna add in my gray. And then I will come back for the last little bit. Oh, look at that. The last little bit of my blue. Oh, so pretty. Okay, so I used up all of my cups. That was an exact amount. That was perfect. Let me pop any air bubbles on the top now. Okay. All right, so I'm gonna pour in kind of little pulsating puddles until some of the colors start coming out. So here's some of my colors in. Ooh, there's a lot of gray. Keeping the design kind of through the center there, and then I'll show you. So I'm gonna pop now. I tried to do that quick so that I wouldn't create so many bubbles. Y'all, I gotta stop. I do this every time I say the word bubbles now. Okay. So now I'm gonna come through. Okay. I actually really like where that is. So I'm just creating the center design. I do wish that I had had a little bit more white, but she wanted blue and gray. So, okay, so now I don't know if I'm gonna need it or not, but I might as well just kind of pour around the sides here so that it'll help it flow around the canvas. And then I can scrape this color again and make another color. When I scrape like blues and darker colors, I get like this robin egg color each time. And if you are scraping it from your table, you may want to strain it. This has been through the ringer, but I strain it to make sure that there's no extra lumps or anything in there. And I still get a few, but still saves you on the paint. I didn't want to do it too much. I can see that there's bubbles, but yeah, see, I don't want to do it too much, and then I'll end up with all these white specks everywhere. Like, I don't want the white specks there. There's my white. It's underneath this blue. Maybe I can create a little bit more interest there. And at the same time, getting rid of some of those bubbles. Yep, there's my white. Okay, all right, enough fiddling. Let me stretch this out. Wish me luck. So, you know, sometimes you have to do paintings and, you know, learn from your mistakes multiple times before you get it right. It's just kind of the way it goes with fluid art. It's not always going to be perfect by any means. And I definitely am not, so I still learn with almost every single piece that I make. And I've had a lot of fails lately, to be honest. I don't want to call them fails, but I have had a lot of paintings that I have had to learn from. I'll say it that way. Okay, so I'm going to move this paint. You can see the weight of the paint is like right in here, so I'm going to shift that over this way and then come down to that corner. Once it rolls off, I'm going to bring it right back and shift it back to the center. Looking good. I'm liking this. I'm very afraid of popping air bubbles at the end of this, so I may just have to let this sit and see. I'm not sure. Oh, loving the design. All right, I feel like there's something right here that's creating that. Okay. Now I'm going to move to this other side over here. So that is another tip right there, to go ahead and torch ahead of time when you're doing these if you think you've got a lot of air bubbles. And then you can kind of run your finger through and stretch it out. Got the weight of the paint over there. Oh, I don't want to lose all that on that side. Okay. One more go round. Tilt that side over there. This is beautiful over here. Again, I do wish that there had been a little more white, but Like she wanted blues and grays, so. That is another thing that I have been learning with all these commissions that I've been doing, is that it doesn't matter what I like. People are asking me for something, I can always give guidance, but a lot of times I'm actually pleasantly surprised by how it actually turns out. So like I said, learning every day. Okay. I do not think that I'm going to touch this any further, and I'm afraid to pop air bubbles. So I may just let this one sit. I'm gonna touch up my corners and then I'll bring you in and I'll show you the result. I just love this effect. I love how soft it is, and see here you can see the air bubbles that I was talking about, but I'm okay with it because it adds to the piece. This is such an not adds to it, but it doesn't take away from it, I should say. Such an organic piece. All the colors, I just really like how this technique blends colors together. Sometimes you don't want like super harsh lines, but it's gray and blue. And I really like it. Love the dark Payne's Gray center. Yep, really happy with this one. All right, I'll show you how it dries. Okay, so here it is, and it dried really, really nice. I didn't have like a ton of air bubbles like I thought I would because I didn't torch that much. And I got rid of a lot of the white specks that were in it. And it's just really soft and organic. And I like that. The blues showed up and she wanted blue and gray. And that is what I did. So I'm very happy with this piece. And the technique I just really enjoy for just how soft it makes everything look. But all right, thank you for watching. Happy painting. Bye.